Hello and welcome to the vlog for session 18 of Dragon Age Ascension. We're finally in the Anderfells. Yay!
Hooray!
We survived.
We did it.
We didn't die.
Yes, we didn't die. Before we get into talking about the session itself, I wanted to reveal something to you, which I think I alluded to from before. Mm-hmm. Next session is going to be very special because I have planned for there to be a guest player. Mecha will be joining us as the Black King.
Oh,
and so I think that'll be interesting, especially considering you're at the moment trying to go to Weishaupt.
Yeah.
We'll see how that plays out. If
We're going to Weishaupt and then the Chakra Isles, so I don't know how that plays into the Black King, but...
Well, I did send a letter to the architect, so maybe they can intercept us on the way there.
Maybe the Black King is here to give us some tips. I don't know.
Yeah. Also,
maybe the Black King is answering the death of his people by throwing a goat at Weishaupt.
A goat, that's true.
That really gets my
That happened
goat.
only once, okay? That only happened once, alright? It was a stupid king, and it didn't even happen in this universe.
But I think that's going to be very cool, and hopefully we'll have a lot to look forward to there.
Interesting seeing how the Black King reacts to Darethon.
Yeah, exactly, because I did say that the Black King was ultimately going to decide your punishment, so I will be talking to Mecha about that off camera beforehand, so we'll see. Maybe it will involve you in the stocks, I don't know, maybe, I have no idea. Maybe you just have to massage his feet. So
That's not, does he even have feet?
The Black King has feet.
Okay.
Yes.
And
It
then,
was like floating from the art. Anyway.
He doesn't float. Yes.
Okay, my
He
apologies.
doesn't glide like the architect does.
Anyway.
I was just going to say, wasn't there something you wanted to tell us about Senior?
Yes.
Yeah, senior tier. What's... Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I had a lot of scenarios with Senior, and I wasn't sure if you were going to try to keep Senior through the night, because if Tyrion had insisted on Senior to stay with them, so here's the very heartbreaking thing. So Senior is a tranquil, but it's beyond that, because essentially what he did, what Forfax did, Amarin, not only did he make him compliant, but he placed into him
A false memory?
like certain not false memory. He put into him triggers. Like, if this happens, then you need to do this. If this happens, then you need to do this. So one of the triggers was, if first of all, if for whatever reason you are out of the city, you need to make your way back to the city. Like, you need to return yourself, basically. Secondly, if you're in a situation where you cannot, return yourself, then Tranquil still have self-preservation instinct. Basically, ignore your self-preservation instinct and kill yourself. So there would have been a scene where if you woke up the next morning, Senior would have somehow escaped from his ropes, and you would have found him hanging himself with the ropes. So the fact that you decided to turn him in at least saved his life.
Yeah.
But
we're not going to see him anymore, probably, at least for the rest of the campaign.
And quite frankly, in that state, you could argue, is his ultimate fate going to be worse or better than death? I mean, that's up for interpretation, of course, because he's going to be inherited by next of kin. Who's to say that the next of kin is any better than Amarin?
At least he won't. I mean, this is the thing about the reason I didn't fight for it was because what Tyrion did, and two, I think that probably would have overruled him. I mean, hell, what I was going to do as Tyrion in this session, kind of said I didn't do it, but understandable why, is he would have just ran to the Winter and either gets himself killed or gets thrown to prison and waits for punishment, whatever that will be. That's what he was going to do. And the reason he didn't was mainly for what Russo said to him, and also it wouldn't make sense if they were going to go after and kill him. It's like, okay, well, fine, I guess I'll stay around for a bit. But so I did want to put him on a self-destruct path. I'm a little bit sad, but this is ultimately fine that there wasn't a lot more roleplay towards it. But I think it's understandable due to the fact, well, we have time, but also it's you can't help someone who's traumatized. You can't help someone who's already just his mind is too focused on this one thing. What would you say?
Yeah, he's been programmed essentially. Like he can't break his programming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%, Skull. I wanted to. It would have been great if we were able to spend one more session, into Winter.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be able to do that, but I'm looking at the overall number of sessions that we have left, and I'm like, I have to hit this. We have to hit this. We have to hit this,
definitely.
Because we only have 7 sessions left now.
The only thing that probably did it was we just probably missed a moment that. I mean, it could have been good or not. I don't know. Like my imagination. Oh, good.
It's a very open to interpretation moment with Senior, is how I see it. It's pretty much like you can view it as like they did the merciful or the hateful thing. It's a completely neutral option. I will say the one benefit is that because we do know the Guardians, you could talk to Kenny about getting Senior and having him unprogrammed eventually.
But the problem with the Guardians, I mean, the only Guardian who would probably be behind his back for what he did, but even though it's a little bit mixed with Andrea, since Andrea did technically tell him, yeah, kill him if you can. But Tyrion just literally began what is probably the revolution, possibly an uprising. So that's like I don't know how the Guardians will see him as then. What would he be? Would he be just an image? Would he be? He essentially. This sounds so weird because like of what happened with America over there. He pretty much on the side of the riot to a certain degree, even though he didn't knew that.
Yeah. Things into Winter is going to be really interesting, and there certainly were hits against Calpurnia before. Now that this is happening, Calpurnia definitely needs to watch her.
Yeah, but
and Redonis is still out there.
Ultimately help. Did getting her the list ultimately help?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that would help. But it's like I hate to say it, but with what Tyrion did, it's one of those, 1 step forward, 10 steps back.
Yeah, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Yeah, it's what he did was it was pretty.
Because here's my thinking is that if Tyrion does go and turn himself in, and then he gets, for the crimes of murder, you're going to be executed, and Tyrion is executed, then the hero of this elven uprising has just been murdered.
Martyred, yeah, he's a martyr now. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's a situation where anything else we could have done would have just cannibalized things further.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was super messy. So unfortunately,
and I would have definitely, like as I said, I would have definitely played Tyrion where he would have go back like damned or not, like stopping him or not. But I think at the end of the day, I look at him and I say, no, he's gonna play with reasoning, and if everyone's gonna give reasoned opinions, that doesn't. Because right now his beliefs are shattered. As I said in the Nightmare, his beliefs are literally shattered. He's lost. The only thing right now is he's helping this group until either someone talks to him, either there's a decent role play where someone could help him. Which I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that in the next 2 sessions. And it'll be interesting, the epilogue, what will happen to him.
If he turns himself in or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean... Go ahead.
I was saying probably that's as I think I stated this. That's what people here will do after. That's probably, unless someone convinces them otherwise. But I doubt how they would do it. That'll be an interesting argument or reasoning. But anyway,
go ahead, Leon. I like the scene with Rousseau and Tyrion, though I did think it was a little harsh on Rousseau's end of, here's some blood money for your hit. But
that was so badass.
I liked it though.
Well,
so badass.
Let me explain my methodology. How I've seen Rousseau as a character is that he's a true neutral that thinks he's lawful good. That's how I've seen him. So when Rousseau was faced with the crowd of Tyrion had no real forethought, he's lectured me, he's done all of this. He pretty much wanted it to hit home. This is what you've caused. This is your memory.
A gold coin. And but for me, it's not just that. It's also him just saying like, here, like, and he gave him the medical bag. Because in his own eyes, he's not a doctor anymore. He just fucking incited a dire riot. That's grounds for literal him just nope. So I hope he goes back to being a doctor again at some point, like takes that bag back, but not until there's a serious change in his character or.
Well, you can't go back to being a doctor without having been certified in the first place.
Pretty much, yeah. So he's willingly given it away, and that's. I'm kind of sad because that was the entire part of the character. Is like he's a doctor, but with all of that shit, I think that needs to be take a step back for now. Until.
Well, he could come back to it as a character. It's pretty much like he feels he needs some kind of punishment.
Yeah, he needs a penitence or something. Like I'm gonna play him as the.
He's having his Darthan moment.
Yeah, it's. But anyway, that's enough about Tyrion. I think that's. Yeah, it's. I like what we did anyway. Still, even though I would have liked something more, but that's in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Time.
Also, go ahead.
Cool things happen still. I liked it.
And funnily enough, I think if you had not done what you did, Skull, we probably would have had that extra session into Winter just because of the ball, like the role playing there. We would have had to have done it. So in terms of session economy, it was the best thing that could have happened.
Well, pretty much like the only way it could have gone different was if Tyrion had covered up his killing of a Marin, so it looked more like a freak attack or an accident or something like that. Like, say he turned dragon and just torched the body right there. Ah, well, Tevinter's been attacked by dragons. That sucks.
Tyrion could have played it intelligently if his emotions weren't over him. Mm-hmm. That's how I played him as. I played him in that moment, as I said. It was his emotions acting, not his intelligence or his reasoning. At least that's how I saw it and when I rolled that power check. Which actually could be interesting if there's maybe Tyrion somehow developed a split personality disorder where there's like emotions and reasoning. But that'll be weird. But, never know.
I'm just sad that we lost one of our healers, so
That's all on you now, buddy.
Yeah, oh no.
At least temporarily until someone can convince him to like go back to it, or he just sees it as like, no, this is a setback. I can still find something, sort of like a redemption deal. But anyway, that's not about Tyrion.
So one of the things that Darren mentioned was that people were comparing how things were back when Archon Rhodonis was in charge versus Calpurnia was in charge. Because yes, Archon Rhodonis was humiliated in the public eye, but comes along this other Archon who you could argue was worse than Rhodonis in their eyes. Is worse than Rhodonis. They're like, maybe Rhodonis wasn't so bad. So, and he's still around. So.
But Rhodonis is like sort of like he keeps every nuts into Winter, while like what Calpurnia is doing is trying to bring change, and that is the big. I mean, we've seen this in like real life. Change can be like many people don't like change, and especially in a country like
I'd say most people don't like change.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but. It's different. It's the difference with the Winter is because you're essentially trying to remove something that's good. Well, something that's bad. Sorry, the slavery. They're trying to make something good, but in the eyes of many magistrates who own slaves, and generally either treat badly or they don't. Yeah, this is like this is a change. This is a big no-no. We can't go back to like But,
Well, that's kind of the issue with where Tevinter's at. It's a radical reform, and anytime you have a reform so radical like that, you're going to cause massive problems. So it's like, how do we subtly do it? But with an issue like slavery, you can't subtly get rid of slavery.
Yeah, no. It's a big difference. It's a big difference.
I mean, so much of Tevinter's economy is going to be built on that
Mhm.
slave. So it's like, well, what's going to happen to the
Exactly.
economy? And then you're going to have magisters who are
Exactly.
like, who do treat their slaves well. So that why
Yes.
are we being punished because of them?
Right.
You should be cracking down on them, not taking away
Yeah.
our people. And it messy.
Yeah.
It's just messy.
It's very messy.
I don't know if Copernic was doing this law, but what could be, it could be right, possible, but it's pretty much putting slaves instead of slaves as servants, and pretty much sort of giving them a choice if they need to work to servant because they need to make money, or
Right.
doing something else on the side, like doing something else to the community. That's sort of, I think that's what Copernic probably is doing. It's not like we're removing slaves because the magisters need slaves. They need to do their backbone work. They need to put on the portraits, the tea, the bats, and all of that.
But they need to be paid.
They need to be paid, not just that's sort of the issue, and not suffered.
Right.
Also, that's what happened to Tyrion. So.
And the problem is, people who own slaves are well off, and might still be able to argue, but we have to pay them. But I need to, I need money for this and this and this, and you want me to pay for the slaves on top
I already
of that?
pay for their food, I pay for their lodging, and now I'm going to give them money? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I already give them money and materials.
That can be a tough sell for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But either that or you're going to have an uprising, so.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, just as a little footnote, I loved how that scene with Russo and Nathan turned out going to the Capitol building.
Yes, that was so good.
Yeah, I don't think Russo and Nathan have had a one-on-one ever that I can think of.
They've had group talks, but really they haven't. And when Russo was about to start talking to Nathan more, he had the whole reveal of his past in front of Nathan. So I felt like they were just distancing each other till then.
It feels like a similar thing with Nathan and Dartham, because and Dartham was kind of saying, I need to talk to Nathan about the whole Darkspawn thing because he was avoiding me, and I want to talk to him about it. And then since Fergus, who's kind of like one of the trifecta leaders or the 4 leaders of the Awakened, he was like, "You're here, and I'm going to ask you because again, I'm a citizen of this. Sure, I'm a guinea pig, but you're the person who makes the decisions. So should I give the full thing to the Prince of Ferelden?" And he said, "Yep." So that's what I'm going to do.
And I feel like that was very beneficial for Nathan as a character to actually see like a lot of the stuff he was sheltered from.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah. No, and I'm happy that that Nathan was able to have that heart to heart, I think, with Russo, because I think they needed that for a while. Speaking of Nathan, Tyrion. So Nathan and Tyrion have definitely been very close for the last several sessions. Do you think that Nathan sees Tyrion differently after what he's done?
I think that's an RP that's going to have to happen, to be honest. And I did consider, so if next time we have time for RP, he is going to be the next person I'm going to talk to, at least. Because of that, to be honest, as Tyrion in his views, I don't like if he is a person of law, then yeah, you can see him as someone who will punish, who needs to be punished, and Tyrion will accept it. But it's more, the difference is pretty much he grew up. It's difference of where you grew up. So, and also the life situation that Tyrion had to go through, really. So I think there is. I think on Nathan's side, it probably would be where, yes, you did something wrong, but there's a little bit of, it's a complicated situation. I think an RP has to happen. He's definitely one of my next the next NPC I'm going to talk to because of, well, he's the person trading with my rifle, but also because of the law stuff, because of and Tyrion needs someone I think Tyrion wants someone who actually knows the law to help him with his current sort of mindset.
Oh, the law, you say?
And also Russo, but
Russo just holding up his certified law degree, just like.
But I was more looking for a character who, but also the one Russo is, well, I don't think Russo and Tyrion have the best trust at the moment.
Russo doesn't hate Tyrion. It's just he's a little displeased with Tyrion at the moment.
Yeah. Well, let's look what's happened here in the Anderfells.
Yeah, Anderfell stuff.
Holy shit.
That was the Russo show for sure.
Yeah. I like how we didn't kill anyone on purpose.
Yep.
Yeah, I was ready for some major deaths to happen,
Yeah.
possibly Corrin. I was waiting for a possible Corrin death.
I'm surprised that went so well, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
That
that
went,
whole encounter was entirely different from what I saw happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you envision happening?
Well, pretty much what threw me off was when we got ambushed at the cave. Like, I thought we were in a little moment after we were done with Fergus to, like, go set it up, then have the fight. So when
Yeah.
Corrin ambushed us, that changed from where I'd seen Russo, like, I'm going to go confront Corrin in private, to Corrin's come to me, I have to deal with him in a certain way. And I feel like had he not seen what Tyrion done the session before, Russo probably would have hurt or killed Corrin.
So Tyrion did help you to a certain degree.
Oh, Taryn helped you.
How I see it is that he would have tried to just hurt Corrin and stop it there, but if he kept coming at him, he would have put him down.
So would you say that Tyrion sort of opened your eyes now, even though like because he told you in that session and like a while back about like you should not kill the person, then Tyrion killed and then you didn't.
It's more or less like this goes back to when he talked to Athon. He had no intention of killing Corrin, but he acknowledged it was a possibility if Corrin couldn't see reason.
Yeah. But hey, at least that didn't happen.
And I feel like it only happened that way because Corrin was absolutely defeated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It certainly did not end in an ideal way because there's still... I feel like there's definitely a lot of gut-wrenching moments between the two brothers, especially when Corrin said, "I don't need you, Russo." And that's kind of not the last thing, but one of the final things he said to Russo, which it is, I feel like that's kind of heartbreaking.
It is.
It is. Oh, good.
I'd say it also hurt too when Russo basically said, "Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, feelings mutual. I don't need you either." Because he went straight to Pasha right after that.
I liked how they don't need each other anymore. I mean, it's heartbreaking as brothers, but they've learned to grow past them.
But the thing is, you kind of also knew about that since the beginning. You can say.
Yeah.
That they didn't really need. I mean,
they didn't really need each other.
Yeah. It's
more of an acknowledgement of that.
Yeah, it's always been there. I mean, yeah, it's still a cool moment, but
But hearing him say it,
yeah,
I think this probably was the first time he actually said those words to him.
Yeah.
Even though it was probably understood.
And I don't realistically see the two ever really having that great of a relationship afterwards.
Yeah.
It's kind of an awkward conversation. It's like, so how you doing since you killed my son's parents?
And then Balin having to live with an uncle who kind of murdered his original parents.
Awkward Thanksgiving. Yeah.
It's pretty much like the two could be around each other and like put up with one another and not kill each other is the best I could see coming from that.
Yeah.
I did love when Russo was like, maybe one day you'll get to meet your nephew. And Corrin was like, I don't think I want to meet him. Sorry, but that got me. I was like, oh no.
This isn't an honest answer though. I mean,
well, I mean, what's he realistically going to say to Balin? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's one thing. Yeah.
It's like Sir Garrison and Leon. I don't think Leon was thrilled to have Sir Garrison around because not just because of the exercises, but this is the guy that killed my parents.
But my murder plan succeeded. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
It inadvertently succeeded.
And we could have stopped this, but we didn't.
It's fine.
The biggest strain now is the Grey Wardens.
Yeah.
The strain between two parties.
Let me know if you guys have ideas on what the offshoot Grey Warden group should now be called, because they can't really call themselves Grey Wardens anymore. Because
I don't know.
Been kicked out
Watcher.
to form their own group, splinter group. The what Grey Watchers?
The Deep Watchers, because they watch over the
deep
The
warden.
deep roads.
The deep
Deep
warden.
Wardens.
The deep wardens.
We're not the Grey Wardens. We're the Black Wardens
Awakened.
now because Edge.
The Black Wardens.
But then that implies
That's true. The actually the Black Wardens, because they work with the Black King.
Yeah, it
You
fits.
know,
It
and the
fits.
Black Queen. They could be the Black Wardens. That's true.
The interesting part though now is the Wardens are like divided again, because originally the Wardens were sort of divided on how they treat the Darkspawn as, or like the people around them who get affected by it. Because there was I think it was something in the wiki lore where so the Wardens would either, when they would go hunt Darkspawn, they either would do it without any mercy. They would they will burn a village if they have to defeat the Darkspawn. And
That's
the
true.
Wardens who are more like, they try to be still humane. You know, they will try to save a village, but their goal is for the Darkspawn. So now it's sort of the group is splintered again, because now it's those who hate the Darkspawn entirety, and those who, yes, they hate Darkspawn, but they have to but watch over the ones who are awakened or accept the awakened. So
It's the people who see awakened Darkspawn versus awakened Darkspawn.
Yeah. which is
And it's
I
funny
remember
because
season-
originally Dartham was on the awakened He was on Corrin's camp, so
Man, it would have been interesting with season 4. Like we had a character, like two characters from those two different camps.
The two different types of
two,
Grey
like,
Wardens.
if there was a season 4 where there were two PCs who played as like one from the deep, from like the Norway
that
Wars,
would
the
be
other from
amazing.
From the Black Wardens.
yeah. We're not gonna get that. Oh well.
That would be awesome.
The Grey Wardens finally know that griffins are a thing.
Yeah, they do.
Yep, that's exciting. And
Yeah, did they keep any Griffin artifacts? That's another question we could ask them when we go raid their library.
Knock knock. Who's there? Raiders. Raiders who? We're here to raid your library.
Raiders of the Great Library.
I want to know what happened to Titania, because I'm assuming that mage was like, that was your rider. I want to tell. I don't really tell you what happened, so I'm just gonna be like, and then she disappeared.
Right, because that warden was about to say something and then she stopped herself. So how many of you, I don't know if any of you read the Dragon Age novel, The Final Flight, I think?
Last Flight.
Or Last Flight?
I read it, yeah.
So that has a lot of griffins in it because it took place during the time when there were griffins with the Grey Wardens. And the story goes that...
the sister of Garahel.
Correct. Go ahead if you wanted to explain
Yeah.
it.
It's been a while, but TLDR, basically, the sister of Garahel started developing ways to basically Grey Warden the Griffins, to enhance them physically, give them additional benefits against the Darkspawn. However, the Griffins were far more susceptible to, they were corrupted more so by the taint, and that kind of spread into the eggs, the unborn Griffin eggs, and slowly the population started to die off until, because of the corruption that had spread to the eggs, there was no way for them to stay alive after all those experiments.
So it was actually the Grey Warden's fault that the Griffins went extinct. And part of the lore is because it was difficult for these powerful Griffins to be under control, the only way you could control them was to use blood magic to control them. What happened with Titania is they were pretty much... Things were getting very desperate during the fourth Blight. And so the Grey Wardens, I think the first warden maybe decreed that all of the Griffins must go through this ritual, this corrupted ritual. Jeez. And Titania did not agree with this. And so Titania actually, it was rumored that she was a traitor and left and fled. And so she took Valor with her and fled while all of the Griffins were going through this ritual and becoming corrupted. And then that's how she disappeared. And so the warden stopped herself because she didn't want to reveal that the Grey Wardens were essentially using blood magic on griffins, and it's their fault that the griffins died. Like that's basically why she stopped herself.
I love the Grey Wardens. They're like they're the people who need to be there, but also the ones that like do the horrible shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
It's like
They're the Witchers of Dragon Age if Witchers were awful people.
Yeah.
Well, arguably.
That's fair.
It's a fair assessment, and if they were a much bigger organization, because these witchers are like, yeah, we need to stop like making more witches because they don't really need us. Then yeah, Grey Wardens are needed though, at least for the blights.
Well, I mean, if the blights are over, then you might not need them anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we still have green lyrium blight, so.
Yep. Whatever's going on.
That's true. It might be a different type.
Well,
of
they
blight,
can become
green lyrium blights.
They can become wandering adventurers. They can become knights of sorts, or they can just protect, or they can fight the Kunari. Who knows? Or they can just go to Deep Roads and kill them.
Skull, why would they fight the Kunari? The Kunari are innocent in the north, totally not invading.
They would have no reason, but what if they become a threat? And
I mean, no, it's Tevinter who's attacking the Kunari. Like, they're slavers, so there's nothing to be worried about. I mean, it's not like they have airships and Gatlock and mages galore and an incentive to conquer the world based on religious zealotry. I mean, really, none of that's a factor, so...
It's going to be gay. Oh, also with the Awakened Darkspawn, do the Grey Wardens want to continue converting people to Grey Wardens? And if they, the Wardens stop their organization, what's going to happen to the justice system? Because you can, instead of serving out your sentence, you can go to the Grey Warden. How's that going?
That's true.
Specifically, be recruited by a Grey Warden. It's not like a thing that's allowed for everyone. It's true. It's not like taking the black. It's you gotta.
Yeah. You gotta have to like show something, and that's one, and two, that the warden saw you do it, and like I want to recruit them.
Yeah,
that's sort of
a warden's gotta pick you, kind of.
Yeah,
still going to mess up the justice system at least.
I mean, they were already messing up ever since they were created, but they needed men.
Yeah.
They needed people to fight, and who are better, those who can have a second chance.
Yeah.
I got one scenario question. Would you say what we got to happen where the two were just okay with each other for the time being was pretty much the best outcome result?
I would say so.
It seems like it.
I mean, it's also relative. I think from a story perspective, it would be more interesting if you actually killed Corin from a story perspective. So you could argue that would be better, but it's up to you. It's how better situation is up for interpretation.
I mean, to quote my love interest,
world state wise.
Yeah, I mean,
let me put it this way: you definitely f things up far less than Tyrion did. Far less than Tyrion did.
Yeah. The only defense I have for Tyrion is he didn't know what kind of trouble he was going to cause. Only that he murdered the men, but he made a mistake.
Yeah, you can blame the dice.
Yeah,
you can blame the dice.
You can blame the dice. That and also not knowing.
Is this our new measuring stone? Like, how badly did we mess up?
Before it was Leon, now Tyrion's just rocketed past that.
Yeah. Like, how bad do you do this scenario? Was it between Leon and Tyrion? How bad?
Yeah, exactly.
There's the Rousseaus, there's the Leons, and there's the Tyrons. Like, what spectrum do you think you're on?
I was actually going to say, a possible world state. I imagine, like, what we could have done is we could have. What could have happened was all of Corin's side would have been defeated, killed, or thrown in prison, whichever that one, and Fergus's were implanted in there, or the Grey Wardens. So the Grey Wardens would still be there, but they follow this like new law.
I feel like that would have been a Tevinter in Grey Warden territory now situation, where like what's currently happening to Tevinter would basically be what's happening with the Grey Wardens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, the only reason I felt it played out the way it did was Corin's forces were completely and totally defeated, so it allowed that leeway.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we did have a very extended fight with a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys were fine. You were worried. You know, I
Some
threw
of
6
them.
mages at you. You were
Two,
fine.
well, it was only Deritum who was really screaming out of his ass, and I was like, "You'll be fine, man."
Yeah.
It's kind of a case where
else?
it's a different system, so I'm used to more action economy being a thing. But I will say that, like, as soon as I realized that the paralyze was super effective against the mages, I was just like, oh, and this lasts till the end of the encounter. And I was just like, paralyze, 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 paralyze.
Yes. You did what you were supposed to do. You did what I assumed you would do.
Yeah.
Which is why I threw those people at you, assuming you would do that.
And I'm happy I put that spell shield on myself, because I think if that paralyze had hit me, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
Can I just say how happy that hug made Pasha? Also, as a player, I just like everyone turn around. What? Just turn around.
Yeah.
Turn around.
Yes. Did you know what was coming when he?
I did. As soon as you did, I did. Yeah.
Everyone turn around. Yeah.
That made Pasha so happy.
Also, I love Rousseau unintentionally revealing to Fergus that not only is Andrea part of the Crows, but that Cedric doesn't know.
Yes. I'm so happy that Rousseau revealed that.
Unknowingly revealed it.
Everybody knows about. Oh wait, never mind.
Everybody knows about the. Oh right.
Doesn't Andrea have really good bluff though, so she can still bluff her way out of it?
Maybe.
They just send me some information sometimes because I help them with the water. They don't do assassinations for me.
I just love that. Wait, she's in with the Crows? No, she's not.
But I think you're lying. Aren't you lying? But you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
He's not under oath, so he has no.
He's not under oath. That's true. He's not under oath. Anything else?
Don't think so.
I've really only got one other question. Would you say that interaction with Corin got to him at a core level? Because when I roleplayed it, I felt like it was out in one ear, out the other.
Yes, I think it did. I think a lot of it was he wanted to look tough in front of his friends. He didn't want to look like a softie. Because during that entire conversation, in my head, I was thinking Corin was really whiny. Like, come on, guys! Like, I just got this title. Like, don't question my authority. But outwardly, he had to act like he was in charge and okay, whatever, Rousseau, blah blah blah. So yes, because I think he was just trying to put on a tough act in front of the other wardens.
He tried to put on a big boy pants, but there was another person with bigger pants than him.
I think the biggest moment was when who basically mentioned. Oh, was it Pasha who was like, did you? She was basically like babying him. I forgot what she said.
She was like, "Are you eating all right? Are you okay?"
Right. And the thing is, Corin does genuinely like Pasha, and so he wasn't mad at Pasha. He was just embarrassed, by Pasha, and so because that happened, he really had to be like, okay, I gotta turn this around and make them respect me again. So, yeah. That was
he right when he said he only turned everything around because you were conscripted? Because that felt like the biggest knee jerk from him.
Yeah, that felt.
You're asking if he was lying? Is that what you're saying?
Well, when Rousseau basically threw in Corin's face, like, the only reason you're a better person now is because you got conscripted. You never would have done it on your own.
Yeah. I think deep down inside he believes he would have not turned around on his own. I think he believes that the conscription was the key element to turning himself around, if you can call what he's doing turning things
comparatively
around.
Better would be the
comparatively better.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's slightly better than murdering, I guess, children's parents, but still.
Well, to be fair, Corin, he doesn't murder for the sake of murdering.
Yeah.
Everything he did was to survive. He's a survivor.
Yeah, he's a survivor. Oh, yeah, he's got every reason.
He murders so that he can put food on the table.
Yeah.
And so when he got conscripted, he didn't have to murder to put food on the table anymore.
Yeah.
So he's not bloodthirsty. He's just a whiny bee.
He's why am I looking at? Why am I saying like Anakin Skywalker? Sorry.
And now we know that Violetta told everyone about the character.
Oh no.
He had a huge character.
I don't think that came from Violetta. I just think that just came by word of mouth from Darren or whoever.
Yeah.
Like, overheard.
All of us
And that
gossiping.
I think them gossiping. I don't think that Violetta was spreading that.
Okay.
And now you have a reason to go back and talk to her again, right?
That's true. It's just, we need to talk about my character. She's like, I really like your character. It's a fine character. There's nothing wrong with your character. Did somebody say there was something wrong with your character?
The things that come out because you just don't want to tell your 6-year-old son I had sex.
We have. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't really want to.
We have. Different couples have code names for that subject. Not to get too deep into anything, but Colin, we have a code name for it. So whenever I say, and it's very like mundane, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about." But it was kind of funny because without giving away what it was, he like mentioned the mundane thing, and I was like, "What? Oh, okay." And he's like, "No, you don't get it." I was like, "Oh, that's what you're talking about." Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's like saying this isn't what it is, but it's like saying, "Hey, do you want to play Mario Kart?" And I'm like, "Mario Kart? Like, what do you mean?" Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, more information than you probably needed from me, but anything else? Now, on that note, anything else?
Wonderful content.
Wonderful content.
A plus
that's
plus
the perfect
content.
note to end on right there.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
This is why you have to be 18 or above to audition for this campaign. This is why.
Romance.